Welcome to the Gray Area. It's your man Kevin Gray of 105.3 The Fan. Be sure to subscribe to my YouTube channel right here at Kevin Gray Sports. You can also find me on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram, also at Kevin Gray Sports. You are about to see the return of one Kristaps Porzingis as he gets ready to take on the Charlotte Hornets in his first basketball game, marking the return of a guy who in his first season averaged over 20 points, nearly 10 rebounds, and 2 blocks per game for the Dallas Mavericks. And a welcome sight for a team that's going to be missing several players, including Dorian Finney-Smith, Jalen Brunson, Maxi Kleber, and Dwight Powell with respect to the COVID protocols. The return of Kristaps Porzingis is an important one for a Mavericks team at 5-4 at this season. Need a guy who's going to continue to help the rebounding aspect of this basketball team while creating block shots and shot alteration. Willie Cauley-Stein has done a terrific job so far when he's had his opportunities to be in the lineup to play the kind of defense and create paint resistance that the Mavericks have desperately needed. And while Luka Doncic has shouldered the load in terms of the scoring prowess for this basketball team, now he will see the return of his running mate in Kristaps Porzingis, who, during the first round playoff series against the Los Angeles Clippers, had a 30-plus point game against the Clippers and honestly gave the Mavericks a great opportunity to potentially win that series if he did not tear his left meniscus as he did, causing him to miss the rest of the postseason and subsequently the first couple of weeks of the NBA season. But now for Rick Carlisle, getting a guy in Kristaps Porzingis back means much more flexibility on the offensive end with his ability to shoot the ball from the three-point line and also his ability on the defensive side to be able to block shots, alter shots, and really give the Dallas Mavericks some paint protection. It'll be interesting to see how this goes in the first several games for him with respect to getting his legs under him, his conditioning up as he continues to get acclimated back into playing basketball once again. But at the same time, a Mavericks team that finds himself in the Western Conference, a tough Western Conference, will now get its second best player back. And while Porzingis is their second best player at the moment, I still do believe they need to find themselves a perimeter scorer that can provide a scoring presence from the three-point line and also be able to dribble, drive, and create his own shot when needed. I know Tim Hardaway has played well off the bench and as a starter this year, having both a 30-plus point game as a bench player and as a starter this year, but at the same time, his ability to be an instant offensive provider is starting to seem like him coming off the bench is going to be much more productive for him this season, which is a testament to his professionalism and the fact that he could do both. But more so than anything now, Kristaps Porzingis is going to provide the Mavericks a lot of different versatility for Luka Doncic. Luka Doncic, who has won the Western Conference Player of the Week, will now put himself in a position where he can be able to continue to be the facilitator for this offense while also not having to shoulder all of the scoring load, although he will remain the primary ball scorer, obviously, for this Mavericks basketball team. But what we are now going to see for this team, especially with the flexibility of the lineup changes that we've seen for Rick Carlisle this season, is mixing and matching of lineups and matchups that are best for the Mavericks on a night-to-night basis. And as they continue to find themselves improving and getting Kristaps Porzingis in the best position to be successful, what you saw from him last year was a guy who struggled in terms of his offensive game to start off the beginning portion of the season, but remain engaged on the defensive end. And for me, that's going to be the expectations for him as he starts off again this year. His offensive game will continue to come. His ability to shoot from the three-point line will get more consistent as the season goes on. But how he engages his energy on the defensive side of the basketball will be the most important thing for him, because as he continues to show that defensive prowess on that side, his offense will begin to pick up as a result of it. And much more important right now is the focus on the defensive side of the basketball for Rick Carlisle and this team this season. So with Porzingis, yes, his creativity as an offensive player, his ability to shoot the ball from the three-point line and to get shots on the block is going to be important. But what's more important at this juncture of his return is that defensively he provided the kind of anchor that Rick Carlisle saw from him last year as his game continued to progress and get him to the point where he was averaging 20 points and 10 rebounds a night. One of the best games that he played a season ago was against the Milwaukee Bucks, and his ability to not only shoot the ball from three but also rebound the basketball when he ended the Bucks' 18-game winning streak on Giannis's home floor. Those are the kinds of things that Kristaps Porzingis is capable of, the former number 4 overall pick for the New York Knicks. He is capable of those kinds of games. But with Rick Carlisle, the emphasis on the defensive side of the basketball is where Kristaps Porzingis will need to focus on as he continues to get himself acclimated toward his return, especially with the Mavericks being shorthanded in terms of the players that are going to be missing for the next several games due to the COVID protocols. So while Kristaps Porzingis' return is right on time, it could not come at a better time for the Mavericks, who have been dealing with the COVID situation, much like how the rest of the NBA has been dealing in the first 23 days of this season, having 7 games postponed or canceled already. The Mavericks now have the chance to find themselves at 5-4, already on a 3-game winning streak currently, to get even better as Kristaps Porzingis continues to get himself acclimated back to this basketball team. A team that has found itself in the top half of defensive efficiency this year, and also in terms of its offense getting much more into rhythm. You saw them against the Denver Nuggets with their ability to hit the three-point shot, to be able to get themselves in position to shoot the ball better. And then you've seen guys like Trey Burke, Tim Hardaway, and others be contributors on the offensive end of the basketball. They're going to need that and more from this team as Kristaps Porzingis' offensive game continues to improve. And as it does, this is a team that could finally put themselves in the conversation of a top 4 Western Conference seed this season, because that was the expectation going into this year, that with a healthy Kristaps Porzingis, an MVP candidate in Luka Doncic, Tim Hardaway continuing to improve his game at not only as a catch and shooter, but hopefully get a little bit better as a driver to the basket, that this team could find itself with the versatility of Maxi Kleber, the individual ability of a Willie Cauley-Stein to continue to improve not only his jump shot, but his defensive ability, that this would be a team that could finally be a serious contender in the Western Conference this year, which is obviously top-heavy when you start thinking about the teams like the Clippers, the Lakers, and others who are going to be there at the end, although the Clippers are struggling at this point, not struggling nearly as much as what Houston's got going on right now with James Harden, that dumpster fire of a situation. But more importantly, the Mavericks now have a chance to really focus and hone in on who they are in terms of their identity as a basketball team, which we've seen through the first several games, especially during the 3-game winning streak, is that their calling card and identity this season will be on the defensive end. Kristaps Porzingis is going to help that with respect to how they continue to get better as a defensive unit, as a collective defensive unit. And as that continues to improve, their offense will continue to come. A team that was last year historically the best in terms of offensive efficiency. I don't mind if they won't be in the top 10 or top 5 as offensive efficiency is concerned, as long as their defense continues to improve. And if they do continue to improve, their ability to get out in transition, get open buckets, but also be able to set up half-court offense will help them remain in the top 10 in terms of offensive efficiency. But Rick Carlisle has talked about it all season. This team defensively must be better. And with the return of the unicorn and Kristaps Porzingis, they will do exactly that this season, because it's vital for them to continue to build the momentum that they've created as becoming a better defensive basketball team. And when you have a guy who's over 7 feet tall that can alter and block shots, averaging 2 blocks a game that he did last year, and also rebound the basketball at nearly 10 rebounds a game, all of that is going to be helped, especially when you're starting to see Luka Doncic make the commitment on the defensive end himself. All the calling cards for this team start with Luka Doncic and his ability not only as an offensive player, but taking the commitment to playing defense much more seriously. And as he has done that so far, his teammates have responded, and now Kristaps Porzingis will help out with that leadership and his ability to play defense also, which is important when your 2 best players make the commitment on the defensive end and cleaning up the glass as far as defensive rebounding is concerned. That sets the tone for an entire basketball team to be able to do the same. And now they will have the opportunity to do so. So we will see as the Mavericks take on the Charlotte Hornets and then be able to take on teams like the Bulls, the Rockets, and others, what these first few games will look like as they continue to reacclimate Kristaps Porzingis into this lineup. I'll be interested to see what kind of minutes he is playing in these first few games, or whether or not Rick Carlisle will go ahead and turn him loose. And if he does, we hope to see the full fruition of Kristaps Porzingis is supposed to be within this offense, but more importantly, what he is supposed to be as a defensive player, a rim protector, a shot blocker, and shot alterer that can hopefully help out on the glass, where at times this team was out-rebounded on multiple occasions. And, of course, we saw in the Lakers game, giving up 35 second chance points and them scoring 0. You won't see a game like that again with Kristaps Porzingis in the lineup and his ability to rebound and help this team clean up not only the defensive glass, but get some more second chance opportunities on the offensive end, which will help this team become even more efficient with respect to shooting the basketball. So here comes the return of the unicorn, Kristaps Porzingis, and now one of the best young duos in all of the NBA being formed once again, and hopefully Kristaps Porzingis' health will continue to remain what it needs to be, because his health is what hinges this team on being a top 4 seed in the Western Conference this year. If Kristaps Porzingis can remain healthy, this team, as the season goes on, can continue to be much scarier as a serious threat in the Western Conference. Kristaps Porzingis is back, and for Luka Doncic and the Mavericks, it couldn't come at a better time. You can follow me on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram at Kevin Gray Sports, and be sure to subscribe to my YouTube channel also right here at Kevin Gray Sports. We'll talk to you later. Peace.